I grew up skateboarding, but I don't even do that anymore. California just does not remotely embrace the fact that it's where skateboarding itself was birthed and where 90% of the industry is. I wasn't, Mr. Popular. I was somewhere in the middle ground. I was quite alternative, the things I liked to do. Skateboarding, at the time. Playing in a band as opposed to playing in the rugby team. That kind of thing. The hardest thing about skateboarding is consistency. The slightest flick of your foot or gust of wind can send your board flying, so it's really anybody's game out there. The last few years I became a lot more into sports. Growing up, the sports I liked were independent sports, like skateboarding. I was really into skateboarding, and not necessarily team televised sports. Skateboarding has given me everything I have and created who I am. Growing up, I absolutely loved skateboarding and dirt bike riding with my brother and the neighborhood kids. The way skateboarding contests were in the past was like going to a basketball game and being told at the end of the game what the score was and who won. Think about how unengaging that would be if you didn't know who was ahead or if it was a close game. I think that's one of the best things about skateboarding. We're all competitors out there, but no one dislikes each other. Skateboarding was everything to us growing up. It changes the way you see the world. You spend all day looking for ditches. When I was a kid, everywhere I went people said I should be a model, but I was more into skateboarding. I actually got into music because of art and because of skateboarding. All those graphics and punk bands and fanzines, they were glued together in my brain. DC and Monster have always supported my vision for street skateboarding, from building skate plazas throughout the world to now creating the first ever professional skateboarding league. Every Halloween for 6 years, I was a Ninja Turtle, and Mikey was my favorite. The Turtles really made me who I am today. They got me into martial arts, meditation, surfing, skateboarding, big-time influence on who I am today. People really criticize professional athletes going into the Olympics. People don't like change. A bunch of people don't like the Olympics now because we've added skateboarding. We're modernizing the sport. In skateboarding, you're never bigger than the streets. One of the best things to me about skate is that if you play this game from beginning to end, you just got a complete education on what skateboarding is. When I was growing up, skateboarding was big and basketball was big. I've been wearing Vans since I was a little kid. I wear them on stage, and I grew up skateboarding and surfing. In 2002, in this country, there was an observation that for the first time in America, more kids were actively pursuing skateboarding than baseball. I like skateboarding because it's backyard danger. You don't need to go on an alpine holiday to get thrills. Punk rock and skateboarding took the school out of living your life, and I related to learning as I went, doing a lot of different things that I liked, when I like. Consequently, I'm mediocre at all of the above, but still stoked on being a lifetime student of music, skating, painting, writing, etc. My life path has been a blessing and a great learning experience. Skateboarding is my passion and I don't see that changing. When I'm not skating, I love to surf. I'm open to the new experiences and opportunities. I'm thankful to be a mixed racial person in skateboarding. I'm part Japanese too, so when I go over to Japan everyone loves me there. When I go somewhere where there are a lot of black people they'll love me there too. Usually the thing that signifies that I'm done with the winter and all that is that I start skateboarding. When I was a kid, I loved Nicholas Brothers films. It was like skateboarding. Even Gene Kelly, I always preferred him to Fred Astaire, just because he was more athletic, like skateboarding. I'm riveted by extreme sports like big wave surfing, megaramp skateboarding and half-pipe snowboarding. I'm fascinated partly because the sports are so exhilaratingly acrobatic, but I'm also captivated by the fear that a terrible accident might happen at any moment. And accidents do happen. That is the most fun part of skateboarding, the challenges. There are always new possibilities. Hopefully, kids realize you can do anything you want. Skateboarding can be that gateway. I feel like skateboarding is as much of a sport as a lifestyle, and an art form, so there's so much that transcends in terms of music, fashion, and entertainment. I've seen kids turn their lives around. It's usually a kid who's outside of the team sport world, or maybe has a darker personality or doesn't fit in. Skateboarding ends up being something they latch onto. It sounds hokey, but finding a focus on something, whether it's skateboard or playing your guitar, can be life-changing. I personally think skateboarding is harder because it has so many moving parts. With snowboarding, your feet are strapped to your board. The reality of professional skateboarding contests is that they're not relevant in our world. Skateboarding helps a ton with balance, precision, with air awareness. It gets your senses to be spot on, and it's also a great way to take my mind off things. I started out making skateboard videos. Soon, it dawned on me I just wasn't that great at skateboarding, so I put down the skateboard and just kept going with the camera. I was born in Orange, California, and I grew up in Huntington Beach. I started skateboarding when I was 5 and continued to do so off and on over the years. When I moved from Armenia to LA, I moved to North Kingsley Drive. That was my street, that's where I grew up, and I saw everything there. I started skateboarding there. I witnessed homelessness, the poor, I noticed gangs. I learned about friendship. I grew up skateboarding. It was fun. I didn't think about money. I didn't know how much professional skateboarders made. I just knew that if I became a professional skateboarder, I would achieve a lot and get to travel and do these great things. I wanted to promote skateboarding as much as possible through different media. Growing up in Huntington Beach, you were either a traditional sports athlete, a skateboarder, or a surfer. I got my first skateboard when I was 5 and skated off and on over the years, did a little BMX racing as a kid, and then in my freshman or sophomore year I started getting a little bit more into skateboarding. No matter what I do, how much money I make, where I live, or what kind of car I drive, the stuff I skateboard on is the same stuff that every other kid in LA, every kid in the country, everybody in the world is skateboarding on. Skateboarding teaches you how to take a fall properly. If you try to kickflip down some stairs, it might take you 30 tries, and you just learn how to take a tumble out of it without getting hurt. My dad was really controlling, and he did want me to skate every single day. I would say he did it in a little bit of a strict way, which probably wasn't necessary because bottom line I loved skateboarding and that's all I wanted to do anyway. For me, part of one of my big movements is building authentic street environments for skateboarding. Skateboarding is training, but I don't think of it as training. It's fun. If I weren't skateboarding, I'd love to race cars. I like anything that's fast and active. For me, skateboarding is a lifestyle. I really don't know anything different. My life revolves around skating. If I wasn't a professional skateboarder, I'd still be skating every day. When I was a kid, I always wanted to live in California because I liked skateboarding. Thank you for reminding Canada that I'm a disappointment to them. I like hockey, I love it, but I'm not an avid hockey, let's face it, true Canadian, fan. I've always been more into snowboarding and skateboarding and sort of the alternative sports. I'm not crazy about hockey, but love it. Most of my fans know I love video games. I say it in every interview, so they know. But one thing that I like doing is skateboarding. I like jet skiing, skydiving. It's like a huge roller coaster ride, like 40 seconds of free falling. That's some of the stuff I love, daredevil stuff. I like horseback riding. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.